today I'm talking about 3 Hugo Weaving movies from the mid-2000s that I've seen before, and also in all of which you never actually see his real face. And the names of the 3 films that I am talking about today are Happy Feet, V for Vendetta, and Transformers. The first up is Happy Feet. This is a 2006 film starring Elijah Wood and Robin Williams and a ton of other actors you know. And I remember loving this movie when I first saw it, enough so that I bought it. And I went into this being like, am I gonna love it again? Like, is it gonna hold up? Is it gonna be too ridiculous and too silly? But honestly, no. I freaking loved this movie. It was so good. They solved global warming with dance. Who can't get behind that? But yeah, no, it's amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I technically just spoiled it, but I don't care because it's delightful. The basic premise is Elijah Wood plays Mumble, this penguin in a big colony, and they're all about singing, and that's how you attract your mate. And so it's technically a jukebox musical. It's almost an opera. They almost sing everything. But Elijah's character is different and weird, and his dad doesn't understand him. He can't sing, he can dance. It's so delightful. It's so charming. What really works about it too is that obviously the end of his story is going to be acceptance. Like, that's where it's all going towards, is him getting accepted by especially his father, but also just his community at large, and also getting a connection to his love interest. That's what his story arc is. And that's clear where it's going to be from the get-go. But it's not clear what sort of adventure he's going to go on, or even really where he's going to go next. But not in like a directionless way. It's more of just like an exploration. And honestly, it's really good storytelling, because like it feels like we're going somewhere, even if we're unsure where we're going. That definitely is a skill in writing that not everyone has. And like, even though it's a jukebox musical, they really made it work because they really integrated the songs into the story. Like, it's just a very musically inclined group of individuals, and it makes logical sense that they're just constantly singing. So that was great. Robin Williams was terrific. He was so much fun. I loved him and his boys. They're a bunch of Spanish-speaking characters. It's definitely stereotypical, but I feel like the heart behind it works, especially because, like, besides Robin Williams, they cast Hispanic actors in those roles, and they're there for most of the movie. And the metaphor works for it too, because it's just like about religious extremists demonize things they don't understand to keep the status quo. And yeah, no, just like top to bottom, this movie's fantastic. The animation didn't always hold up, but there were a lot of really beautiful shots in there that I could kind of forgive anytime the animation wasn't the best. So yeah, I loved this movie and would wholeheartedly recommend it. You want a good, wholesome, delightful, charming experience? This is all that and so much more. Definitely give it a watch for sure. Next up is V for Vendetta. This is a 2005 film based off of an Alan Moore comic. The basic premise is, in this fascist dystopian England, there's this young woman named Evie, played by Natalie Portman, super adorable, and she one day gets harassed by the police, and this masked figure saves her in a very ridiculous scene. Then she gets linked to him, and then that causes a lot of issues. But V wants to do some revolution, because he's like, fascism. Where this differs from the comic is that in the comic he is pro-anarchy, and here he's pro-democracy. Or at least he's not explicitly for just chaos. He just hates fascism, is the main thing. And yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoyed this film. It works really, really well. That first action scene that I talked about where V rescues Evie is the most ridiculous one. Like, what's going on there? Is he like a superhero or something? It's crazy. And also, Natalie Portman cannot do a British accent. It's so bad. Like, I love you, Natalie, but like, oh my god, what are you doing? What are you doing? Thankfully, after the beginning of the film, she doesn't speak as much, plus she gets better as it goes on, and just, it's less of an issue. Yeah, no, the story is really good. It really energizes you. I mean, yes, this is a very over-the-top world, and it definitely beats you over the head with its messaging and what it's going for, and its symbolism and all that stuff, and it's such an absurd version of reality. But at the same time, that works because, like, reality is just getting more and more absurd. Like, what is going on in this country? So like, I think that still works because reality is somehow more ridiculous. There is a second fight scene that's also a bit ridiculous and it's very of its time, but like by the point we got to that one, the movie had me. Like, it really, really nails its emotions so well. Imogen Poots has a little part in this movie and she is just delightful in it. I remember loving that scene when I saw it in theaters. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie and would again totally recommend it. I mean, it does have a couple of issues, but I think it's worthwhile to push through them because the rest of the movie is just fantastic. And lastly is Transformers. This is a 2007 film, and man, I did not really want to watch this one because I was like, there's no way this is gonna be good. I remember enjoying it a lot at the time because I loved Transformers as a kid. I was super into Beast Wars, and like I had some of the toys prior to this movie, and then when this movie came out, I was like, I'm gonna get the toys. I'm gonna get all the toys. And I still have them. They're not here, they're at my parents' house. I have like 10 of them. I definitely do have nostalgia for this movie because like it was a big deal when it came out. I definitely saw the next couple of sequels. I think I saw the second one like 3 different times in theaters. Not intentionally, people just wanted to see it with me for some reason. I don't know. I think there's a good movie in here. And if you do some really selective editing, you can make a pretty damn great film. What it is right now though is... Okay, let's go for some positives real quick. It's got great visuals. Without a doubt, there's some really beautiful, good-looking shots. The Transformers look great. The Transformers sound great. They feel great. Just the impact of them fighting and stuff. You could clearly see that they had physical props occasionally. Like when Bumblebee was unconscious, that was a physical prop. I'm fairly certain the frozen Megatron was also a physical prop. That was really cool. Good job, movie, for putting in the effort of making actual props. It's effort that definitely shows, and it's great. I think the 3 stories setup is a decent structure. Definitely could have used like more plot stuff with the Transformers, but that's also really expensive. So I kind of understand, but I mean, come on, it's Transformers. You gotta have them doing stuff. Even though this is a Michael Bay film and he doesn't exactly treat women the best, I will give him credit. There are 3 women in this movie. One is just comic relief, and that's fine. That's the mom. Megan Fox is obviously here just to be eye candy, but they made her smart and capable. She's a mechanic. She has her own wants and needs. She has her hero moment. When Bumblebee's hurt, she like helps him do some hero stuff using a tow truck. And I'm like, well, that's cool. And then the third woman, Rachel Taylor, who's ridiculously tan in this, she is like leading the hacking group and is like really smart, really capable. And even though she's definitely there to just be really hot, they don't really overtly sexualize her, especially not to the degree of Megan Fox. So like, good on the movie for making an attempt. But man, no, this movie is, it's trying to be a comedy, but the comedy is just like sexual comment after sexual comment. And it's like, this isn't funny. This is super awkward. This is super horny. What are you doing, movie? There's also Jazz, who's just a black stereotype. He's got like 5 lines and it's just, I did like his toy though. I liked his toy a lot. I believe that was the first one I bought. I will say I went into this with as open as mind as I could, and it quickly got the door shut in its face. I didn't put this movie in the didn't like though, because I do think there are some redeeming qualities. Plus, like, I also respect like the cultural impact that this had, because this movie was a big deal when it came out. All of my friends were super jazzed about it. Not just like the dudes, but the ladies too. And it spawned a bajillion sequels and one really good prequel film. If you've never seen Bumblebee, I highly, highly recommend Bumblebee. It's so good. Haley Steinfeld is just perfect in it. Well, in general too. So yes, I don't recommend Transformers, but I do recommend Bumblebee. It's perfect. Alrighty, now for today's rankings. First up, we got Happy Feet sitting at number 8 in the really like section. And then after that, not too terribly far behind, is V for Vendetta sitting at number 14, again in the really like section. And then bringing up the rear, rightfully so, is Transformers sitting at number 52 in the meh section. This is up a total of 63 old movies so far this year.